Hey guys, welcome back. Give you a good long look at this table. Everything goes smoothly up to the 6 ball, and then you're going to see disaster happen. But for now, let's take a look at these first 5 balls, getting from the 1 to the 2. Well, let's take a look at the shot line here. I'm putting bottom right on this to spin it off that first rail right there. And to widen the angle, increase the angle coming down on the 2. And if we're looking straight down at the 2 and we're about to shoot it, you want to be on the left-hand side of this 2. So you can just stun that ball out a little bit and get, the down table just a little bit on that 3 ball. Otherwise, if you get it on the right-hand side of that line, you're going to be going back up table and further away from the 3 ball. So if you don't put any English on this ball and you just drive it to this rail, this is what you're going to get. The big problem with that is because there's nothing helping the speed. That right hand English helps the speed. It doesn't just widen the angle. It kind of gives it a little boost off that rail. So that rail's going to kill the speed of the cue ball, and you'll be lucky to barely make it to the 2 ball line. You're going to be stuck playing the right hand side of it and trying to figure out how to get back on this 3 through all this traffic, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So it's really, really important to get to the left hand side of this line. So let's take a look at the right shot line. So from this position on this 2 ball, you can put inside bottom on it and just stun that 2 ball to stay up close to that line on that 3 ball. You don't want to drift away from that line. You don't want to get too far under it or too far over it, too far on the left or too far on the right. And this is so you can shoot the 3 ball in that pocket and draw the cue ball back for an easy shot on the 4 to get to the 5. And with that, let's go ahead and roll. You're putting inside English on this, which in this case would be left-hand English, and just a hair bottom. You want to shoot this like a stop shot, and you really do want to just stop the cue ball right there. That's your safest bet. You don't absolutely have to try to get exactly on this 3 ball line. If you're a little bit off it, you'll be fine, and the distance is okay. So it's not worth the gamble to go ahead and stun the shot and try to get close to the 3 and try to get on that line. It's too much work, and you're risking the whole game just to be perfect. So let's go ahead and look at the shot line, and you'll see exactly what I'm doing here. I'm not moving the cue ball very much at all off that 2 ball. Taking a longer shot on the 3, and then we're drawing back on that 4 ball like we said. The 4 to the 5 is a little bit tricky because of this obstruction here, and this is why I put these gray balls in there. Shadow balls. Who was it? Gunning said they were shadow balls. I'll take that. We'll call them shadow balls. That's the 9 ball right there. So it's kind of killing our options on from this 4 to this 5. We can get straight in on the 5 to shoot it down in this corner. But the problem with that is you're going to be rolling up on this 6 ball. And when you get to the 6 ball, you're going to be too close to that rail, and you're not going to be able to shoot it right. You never want to be on the rail if you can help it. So a better idea is to just come up short on this 5 ball. Don't try to get straight in for that, corner pocket, and shoot it in the side. And this way you'll have plenty of room off the rail when you come down on that 6 ball. And now we welcome the 7 ball into the picture. Yeah. Let's take a look at the shot line on the 3 ball. And now you can see the exact aiming point is center of the table. We're getting a little bit on the left-hand side of this 4-ball. And then we're going to put left-hand English on the 4-ball shot to keep it under that 9-ball. You don't want to get snookered behind that 9-ball, and it's easier done than you think. We're getting an angle for side pocket shot to pull out from that right-hand side rail and to get a little bit of room on that 6-ball shot. And that's so we can bounce to this left-hand side rail to get back on this 7-ball. I believe you have a grasp on that, so let's go ahead and keep on rolling. And now we're giving some focus on this 8, but before we get to all that, let's take a look at this 4-ball shot. Yeah, I'm putting left-hand English on it to kill the natural angle, which wants to bounce off that top rail and come over this way. Not that it would really matter too much, but I also want to kill the momentum of the cue ball. It's a little bit of a full hit, so that 4-ball is going to slow the cue ball down, and the left-hand English is going to keep it bouncing straight back down table instead of going on an angle in this direction. So from there, we're just kind of stunning out on this angled shot on this 5-ball to get back down on the right position on the 6-ball. But the right position on the 6-ball is a little bit debatable depending on your style of play. And let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. There's different ways to play this 6-ball in order to get to the 7, and I'm choosing to use this left-hand side rail to bounce off and get a little bit high on the 7-ball to go 2 rails back into the 8-ball line to keep the rest of this game simple. That turns out to be a mouthful, and you'll see what happens when I get to the 6-ball. And I'll get more into this in the later graphics. But for now, you can see we're playing the 6 and the 7 into the same pocket, playing the 8 into that corner down there up here, and we're playing the 9 in that right-hand side pocket. And this perfect position on the 5s to get to the 6, but this can be easy to overshoot, and you really don't want to go too long on the 6-ball. So be careful here. You're just kind of stroking it without slamming it. It's a little bit of top and a little bit of left should bring us down on good position on the 6-ball. But what is good position on the 6-ball? So let's take a look at the 5-ball shot line. And here you can see exactly what I'm trying to do. It's okay if you come up a little bit short. You can go to this bottom rail and go 2 rails back out on the 7 to shoot it in that corner. But my plan is to get a little bit lower on this 6-ball, and I get there. The problem is it wasn't a good plan, and you'll see why. I want to save it for the next graphic, so let's keep on rolling. If you're watching closely, you probably noticed I was putting top left on this cue ball and was queuing the 6 up with top left. My plan is to come out and use the natural angle off the 6-ball to that rail and spin it up, or back up table just a little bit, and to get a little bit high on the 7-ball and to play 2 rails from here to the 7 to this rail and back out onto the line on the 8. And this way I don't have to worry about coming up short on the 8 or going long on the 8. I'll still be straight in, and that'll leave me in perfect position to get back on this 9-ball. when you see what happens, you're going to see that that plan did not exactly work out perfect. In fact, yeah. And I'll show you what happened, what I did wrong when we get to that issue. Everybody does it, even the pros do it. So don't feel too bad when you do it. The trick to it is to figure out what went wrong. This is a horrible, horrible position on the 7 ball. You never want to be in this position. And you're really going to have a problem running the rest of this rack out from this position. You might, if you're a conservative player, you might even think about playing safe here. For now, let's go back to that other graphic and take a look at what happened. As you can see, this is almost a straight in shot on the 6 ball. It's a really full ball. The natural angle coming off that left-hand side rail if you didn't put any English on this, you just put center ball. The cue ball is going to hit right about here on that left-hand side rail. And the mirrored angle, which is the exact opposite angle, is going to come back and it's going to hit that 7. But I put lefts on this and I put top on this, so how come it still came back and hit the 7? That's because this is a really full hit. So the 6 ball pretty much takes all the left-hand spin that you're putting on this cue ball. The more full the hit, the more the object ball is going to take from the cue ball, including the speed of the ball and any spin that you put on it. So because of that, by the time it got to this rail, it just had nothing to spin it back out on top of the 7 ball. A better way to play the 6 ball might have been to come up short of that line, to get on the left-hand side of that line, and to use that bottom rail to either go 2 rails back out on the other side of the 7 to shoot it in that pocket, or to just draw off that bottom rail and come back, for a shot on the right-hand side of that 7 ball to just stun it back out on that 8 ball line and just forget all about playing the line and just shoot into the 8 ball line. Or you could just shoot the 7 from there and use that angle to bounce back up onto the 8. Yeah, there's a number of ways to play it. I didn't play it right, and I got a little bit too straight in on the 7 to fulfill my agenda. All right, so we live and learn. So then you can go back to the 5 and say, well, how should we have shot the 5 to get a better position on the 6? And this is the key to improving your game. You have to go back and figure out what you did wrong. If you wind up, getting bad on the 7 and then missing the 7, what most guys do is they practice that 7 ball shot, and that doesn't help them. It's a hard shot. It's a low percentage shot, and it's going to stay low percentage. So the agenda is to not get in that position and to fix the right thing. And now we go back to reality of what we did, and here we are, and boy oh boy, we got a problem here. A lot of guys will put bottom right on this, and they'll try to go up under that 9 ball and spin it back around on the 8. It's not a bad plan, but you're kind of begging for a scratch if you do that, because now you're dealing with a really thin hit on this 7 ball. So there's not a whole lot to grab that cue ball and, bend it in the right position. It's liable to hit that 7 ball and go straight in that side pocket there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 7 ball line. And that gives us even more perspective on the reality of the situation. If you don't put anything except maybe top, which is exactly what I do on this ball, the angle coming off the 7 goes right about here, and it's coming back up and it's going to hit the 7 or the 9 ball. And that 9 ball could go anywhere on the table. It could bounce right in front of the 8 ball, and you just never get a shot on the 8. And now you're kicking at the 8 ball. When you had this game B, you just kind of got stupid on the damn 6 ball. What do you do? Well, you're about to see what I do when we do the loop back and start all over and just let this game roll. But it ain't pretty, Scooby, and I ain't proud of it. It just is what it is. Let's roll.